The call came in just after dawn. A jogger had stumbled upon a young girl lying in the dirt at David's Park in Waukesha, Wisconsin. She was bloodied, barely clinging to life. I arrived at the scene, the morning sun casting eerie shadows through the dense tree line. The girl, later identified as 12-year-old Peyton Leutner, had been stabbed 19 times. 19. Whoever had done this wanted her dead. She had managed to crawl out of the woods, leaving a trail of crimson along the dirt path. A miracle she was still breathing. The paramedics rushed her to the hospital, and my focus turned to the crime scene. A single knife, blood splattered on the leaves. No signs of struggle beyond what the victim had clearly endured. This was no random attack. It was personal. I needed answers, and fast. Not long after, 2 girls were picked up on the side of the road, miles away from the scene. Their names, Anissa Weier and Morgan Geyser. Both were the same age as Peyton. Both were covered in dirt, and both showed no signs of remorse. At first, they were calm, too calm. But the moment they were separated for questioning, the walls started to crack. Anissa was the first to break. She spoke in hushed tones, almost as if she was afraid someone might hear. "We had to do it," she whispered. I leaned forward. "Had to do what?" She hesitated. Her eyes darted around the room before she finally said it. "We had to kill her for Slender Man." Slender Man? A name I had heard before. An internet myth. A faceless figure lurking in the shadows, haunting children's nightmares. But it was fiction. A story. And yet, here were 2 girls, speaking about him as if he were real. Morgan, the quieter of the 2, was the mastermind. She explained, with unsettling composure, that they had planned the attack for months. The 3 of them, Peyton, Anissa, and Morgan, were supposed to be celebrating a birthday sleepover. But for Anissa and Morgan, this was never about fun. It was about sacrifice. They believed that by killing their friend, they would prove their loyalty to Slender Man. He would take them in, keep them safe. If they didn't do it, their families would die. The plan had been cold, calculated. They had originally intended to kill her in the middle of the night, then at a local park bathroom. But fear held them back until the woods. That's where Morgan struck first. The knife sank into Peyton's skin over and over. Anissa stood by, urging her to continue. When it was over, they told Peyton to stay still, to be quiet. They promised they would get help. Then they left her to die. But she didn't. Hearing the confession sent chills down my spine. They spoke about the attack like it was an assignment, an obligation. Not once did they ask if Peyton had survived. Morgan, especially, was detached, emotionless. She had shown no hesitation, no regret, but there was something else, something darker behind her eyes. A psychological evaluation later revealed the truth. Morgan suffered from early onset schizophrenia. She claimed she could hear Slender Man speaking to her. She saw him in her dreams. To her, he was real. Anissa, she was a follower, a believer. She had been manipulated, but she had also gone along with it willingly. The evidence was undeniable. The knife was found in their possession. Their internet history was filled with Slender Man lore, methods of killing, and chilling discussions of what they planned to do. This wasn't just an attack. This was an attempted sacrifice. Peyton Leutner survived, but the scars, both physical and emotional, would remain forever. As for the attackers, they were tried in adult court despite their age. Anissa Weier pleaded guilty to attempted second-degree homicide and was sentenced to 25 years in a mental health facility. Morgan Geyser, the mastermind, pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree homicide. She was sentenced to 40 years in a psychiatric institution. Both had been consumed by a monster that never existed, a creature born from the internet, a figure made of shadows and whispers. But in the end, the only real monsters were the ones who held the knife. And they weren't lurking in the woods. They were standing right beside their best friend.